Because I guarantee you, once you try new things, you conquer your fears, you build confidence in yourself and your own abilities and your own talents, you're going to build overall confidence. You're going to feel like you can do anything. You can master anything.
So find a way to
Hello, beautiful beings of light. My name is Monica. Today's video, we're going to be talking about confidence, but more specifically, how to build your confidence. So if someone were to tell me years ago that I would be filming a video giving advice on how to be confident, I would have either laughed really hard or I would have asked, would the video be about how to confidently be unconfident? But all jokes aside, I used to have really low self-esteem. I was very shy, very quiet, super introverted, and lacked all sorts of confidence. Now, I still consider myself to be an introvert, but I feel like I might also be teetering between introvert and extrovert because I can be very talkative and I can be very loud and I can be very confident in a group of people, but it depends on that group, the energy, how I feel around them, if I feel comfortable enough to be myself, if we have things to talk about that I'm interested in. So it depends on certain variables. And at other times I just may not feel so comfortable with the group and I will be very quiet because I don't feel comfortable expressing my true self or my true opinion. As of now, I do steer clear of groups where I don't feel comfortable, and I like to just be in the community where I feel that I can be myself and that I can trust the other people. This video is not going to be about like how to feel confident when you're doing a photo shoot or modeling. Or how to go up to a person and ask them out, although what I'm about to talk about could help with that. If you're looking on confidence on how to be sexy, then I highly suggest you go check out someone else's video because I can't teach you about that. I'm sorry. But the type of confidence I will be discussing in this particular video is how to be more confident in yourself. I'm going to share what I have personally learned about confidence and my take on it. The best way that I have found to build my own confidence in myself is to, number one, try new things, especially things that scare you, which also brings me to number two, which is to conquer your fears. I'm not saying that if you're terrified of heights to go jump out of a plane and go skydiving. I'm not talking about situations like that. I'm talking about things that you actually want to do, but you're too afraid to do. And so you've held yourself back from doing it, although you want to experience it at least once. So I'm gonna give you some of the examples for me for things that I was afraid to do at first. I did do them and it helped build my confidence in myself. So one example for me would be surfing and skiing. I grew up in Florida, but I had never surfed. And I always wanted to. I am such a beach girl. Like, I just love everything about the ocean. And I always thought it would look cool. I always saw other people surfing and it looked cool. And when my husband and I took a trip to Puerto Rico a few years ago, he had booked us surfing lessons. And I was so scared to do it because although I'm not afraid of water and I can swim okay, I just didn't know what to expect. It looked super hard. And so we ended up doing it. We had some pretty good instructors, but I never actually stood up. My husband did, but I didn't. However, I was still really proud of myself for actually getting the courage up to go and try it at least once. I do wish I could have done it when I was younger. I think I would have been less scared. But either way, I'm just really glad that I got that experience at least once. I may try it again in the future, I'm not sure. But either way, it was still a good experience and I'm glad that I did it. The other was skiing. I did try skiing once. I stupidly skipped the lesson on it. So I just kind of went out there with my husband and a group of friends who had already skied quite a bit in their lives. And I was on the little bunny hill the entire time. And I can honestly say I will never go skiing again. That was too much for me. Like, I did not like getting on the little conveyor belt to go up. I did not like having to get off of it. I did not like feeling like I couldn't be in control while I was going downhill, and everybody else didn't know how to ski and we're all running into each other and apologizing. And the thought of the chairlift just makes my stomach turn in a bad way. So I won't go skiing again. But I do have my own personal philosophy of I will try just about anything once, as long as it's not going to be harming myself or others. And I did try that once, but no thank you, I'm not going to do it again. Another example is singing karaoke and singing at a church choir. I've done karaoke maybe less than a handful of times. I had maybe 2 good experiences and have had 2 not so good experiences. My very first time trying it, I was with a friend and we sung a duet, and we were in this bar and we were underage, we weren't drinking or anything, and my friend's singing and I'm singing and I can't hear myself because the bar is so loud. So I'm like scream singing into the mic and my voice is giving out and it just sounded terrible. It was a complete disaster. But at the end, because people were so drunk, this one guy came up to us and he was like, "You guys were really good." I don't think he was making fun of us. It sounded like he was genuine, but I was just like, oh man, that was so terrible. But it didn't stop me from trying again, because I do love singing, even though I'm not the best singer in the world and I've never had lessons. I did join a church specifically just to be in the choir because I wanted to sing. And I did have a good experience with that. I actually had a mother and a daughter who were part of the congregation who told me that they absolutely loved my voice and they would stay after church to listen to us practice, and that actually made me feel really good that someone actually liked my voice. But either way, doing it just really helped build my confidence in myself. Another fear that I conquered was acting on stage, acting in general. If you don't know already, I really wanted to be an actress when I was younger, and I was in our drama department in high school for a little while, and I was the most quiet person. I was so shy. And I remember before our first play, when we had rehearsals, every single time the acting instructor would yell louder, louder to me because he couldn't hear me. And he would intentionally sit all the way in the back because he said the people in the back have to be able to hear you. And I was so embarrassed. But when it came to actually doing the play went really well. He even gave me a shout out the next day in class and said, "Let's give a hand for Monica, the person who was the quietest during the rehearsals, but was the loudest on actual opening night." So I was pretty proud of myself for conquering my fear there. Another example for me, and it was a really big one, is I love spin. I love spin. It's my favorite exercise. And technically the studio I was at wasn't spin. That's like a very specific type of indoor cycling, but it was indoor cycling. But I'm just going to say spin so people know what I'm talking about. And it was so much fun because it didn't feel like we were exercising. It felt like we were actually at a nightclub dancing on a bike, and you can't do a whole lot on the bike, so you can't look really foolish if you're getting in the groove. But either way, it's like you kind of had to have rhythm because you had to go with the beat of the song, and the instructors would play the most fun songs, like very popular songs you'd hear on the radio with good beats. And we had this LED lighting around the entire studio. They would turn the lights off. We had a disco ball at one point and black lights. And I got really into it. I would do it like 5 to 7 times a week. And I really wanted to become an instructor, but I was lacking confidence in myself that I would actually get hired to do it, even though I knew I was really good. And I was very fortunate to have a lot of other instructors and other people who went to the classes and friends who supported me through my journey and mentored me. And I did a lot of practice classes and got feedback. And then eventually I did do my audition, and it went better than I could have ever expected. It was one of the best moments of my life. I knew that I could do it. I just had to prove it to myself. One of the things I'm doing right now currently that helped build my confidence was learning how to, first of all, drive this truck, which is a big diesel truck, and learning how to pull our RV. That was something I was so nervous about for so long before I knew we were gonna do it. We used to drive really small cars, and we've only ever driven like little sedans. We've never had a big vehicle. And I remember when we first drove this truck home after going to the dealership, and our home was like an hour and a half away from the dealership, so we were driving a while and the road was quite busy. And my husband and I were both so nervous because we were just thinking about how big and how wide this truck is, and then we're like looking in the mirrors to make sure that we're within the lines. And we also were and it just felt so weird to be so high up. We just felt like, my goodness, this is a tank. This is like a school bus. And it just, you know, every vehicle drives differently and you have to get to know it. So it was so nerve-wracking for both of us. And we eventually, and then we were also nervous about learning how to park. We didn't know how to like back into a space or park into a space where we knew we could get out, because a lot of the parking spaces are pretty small and narrow at places. But eventually we did get the hang of it, obviously, and it's so easy to drive. It's almost weird for me to drive anything smaller or anything else at this point. And we're both like, oh, I can just drive a truck for the rest of our lives now, but it's practical because we need it for the RV. And our RV is 32 feet long. It's a travel trailer that gets pulled behind the truck, and driving that, oh my goodness, for the first time on a highway, trying to make turns, especially right-hand turns if there's another car in the lane, it was something that took a lot of getting used to, but it really, really did help build my confidence in myself, and like, I can do anything at this point, you know, if I can do this. And along with RV living, I've learned how to use tools. I know the name of most of the tools we have. I know how to use them. I've helped build, install, and fix certain things. That's something that I've just never really had an opportunity to do before. And what I love about my husband is that he teaches me everything. So like, he'll learn how to do something. It might just be like, in theory, reading something on the internet or watching an instructional video, and then he will learn how to do it, and then he'll go back and teach me how to do it. So every single thing that we need to do for the RV, I know how to do. I may not necessarily do it all the time. I might let him do it because maybe he enjoys it more, or I just don't really care for it. But at least I know how to do it, which is very important. And the last example I have is just YouTube, becoming a YouTuber. My first video, I remember filming on my old channel, night and day difference between then and now, the way that I film and my presence on screen. I just remember looking at the camera and just freezing. Like, I didn't know what to do. It was so weird. Like, I had already kind of planned what I was gonna say, but talking to an inanimate object, especially for the first few times, is just so strange. It's so weird. You kind of feel like you're crazy. And I remember pausing a lot, and I still kind of pause and forget what I'm saying now, and I have to edit. But I mean, I really could not get into the flow in the beginning, and it's kind of cringeworthy to watch now. But over time, it's been at least a couple years off and on that I have been filming videos, and it's so much easier now, and I feel very comfortable in front of the camera, and I feel very confident in what I'm saying. So to wrap all of this up, of all my little stories and examples of how I've built my confidence, is I just encourage you to go out and to get out of your comfort zone and to do something that you want to do, but you might be kind of afraid to do. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to get butterflies. It's okay to not know what to expect. But doing things that you haven't done before and that kind of push you to an extent will help you to grow. It will help you to become a better person. It will help you to become a more confident person, because once you go out and try new things and you conquer your fears, it's going to help build confidence in yourself. Because I can tell you, all of these things that I've done, I look back on it and I go, that wasn't so bad. And certain things I just keep doing over and over again. I practice them until they become easier. But the first time doing something can be pretty terrifying, and that's okay. Okay guys, that's my video for today, but I also just wanted to say one more thing. If you watched my last video I uploaded, it was about how you're using your imagination wrong. And along with all of these things that you might be afraid to do, I want you to take that advice as well. And what I said in that video was to imagine and visualize whatever it is that you're about to do that you're afraid to do going well, going easy, going smoothly, going quickly if it's something you're afraid is going to take a long time. Just visualize it ahead of time and see the end result as the best case scenario instead of the worst case scenario. And that's going to increase your odds of manifesting having a really good experience. And if it doesn't seem like a good experience, it's still something that is going to benefit you in the long run. Maybe it'll help you to try something else because maybe what you tried at that time didn't feel quite right, but you want to try again. And just don't let failure stop you, because fail just means first attempt in learning. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye everyone.